All right, let's get her going for the next 2 hours. The Real Kyper Bourne Show. We're live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet Plus. Download us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Love the chats on YouTube. Are we on YouTube?
I don't know.
We're
coming live right as there's a play at the plate.
We've got a baseball game, so no Fan 590 The Fan, right?
Fan 590 The Fan. No, we're not on
the stream, though. We're on Sportsnet.
Yeah, so
the alternate stream.
You got that right. So on Sportsnet 590 The Fan on the website on the alternate stream, you got that.
Alternate stream. If I asked you for $1 million to tell you what the alternate stream is, I couldn't do it.
There's two streams, and we'll put certain things on one and one on the other. And
do you know what the alternate stream is?
No. Back in the day, I used to know how to route them. Like, I would put things on them, and I could click. They used to trust me with stuff around here.
Yeah, they've since learned.
Yeah.
Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Derek Brandeo, Jake the Snake Schultz. In about 30 minutes, Elliotte Friedman, Hockey Night in Canada, 32 Thoughts will join us. Plenty to get into. National Hour, we'll go to Chris Therien, of course, former Philadelphia Flyer, co-host of Snow the Goalie, and he'll tell us everything we need to know on how nervous the Philadelphia Flyers fans are right now.
Tonight.
There's some
3 monster hockey.
The playoff series just got fun.
Yeah.
The last couple nights.
Really.
In the meantime, off the ice around the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's fun too, isn't it, JB?
I'm having a blast. I do. I don't know.
What is it that's
I get a kick at all this.
blast worthy for you right now? Because I'm not sure if the Leaf fans are at the point where we're hearing all these names for sure, and we'll get into them momentarily with Matt Sundin and John Chayka. But Sammy, what's the feel out there? People getting sick and tired of being sick and tired waiting, or they want a decision one way or the other? Well, what's the vibe?
I don't know. I here's what I'll say, and I've had these thoughts kind of today, and just reading the discourse online and talking to my friends, and it sucks how negative everything is around this process. Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm a big part of it. I come on here. I'm not exactly a barrel of laughs every day talking about it. I've been making fun of the quality of the candidates for 2 weeks here.
Not making fun, just observing opining on.
Opining, sure. I wish I could have a more positive outlook on this. Like, having the name Matt Sundin involved should be so cool. And ultimately, anyone you talk to is balking at it. Like, it just doesn't have temperature.
Just worried about losing Mats as a
No, don't you feel, I mean, you guys talk Leafs, everybody talks Leafs to you in your lives. Don't you feel that, like, the temperature around this right now is not great?
The only thing I could say on that is that it's, and I've covered a lot longer than you, typically in these scenarios, when you're talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, you're always talking about, like, what's the best out there, and we want them, or the link is there. This is so outside the box in terms of a typical process where very, very sought after job is out there, and the names linked to it aren't the big ones for the first time maybe in a long time, that we're not seeing the cachet names associated to this prestigious general manager's job, and people like Sammy and others are a little uncomfortable by it.
Is that just timing? That's just kind of bad luck that the year that they happen to make a managerial changes.
No, I think there's
less appeal.
I think this is strategic on Keith Pelly's part, that he's not interested in attacking the biggest, most popular name out there. And
really?
I think we could put Doug Armstrong at the top of that list.
For sure. He seemed like the most obvious at the time.
If he really wanted him, I believe that we would have heard a lot more noise around that name. Mm-hmm. And it just, guys, it never got there.
No.
For me anyways. I don't know. We're going to have Elliotte on in about 25 minutes. Maybe he, as an insider, has different people, different sources, and he can tell me, Kyper, they went down that path, or they he couldn't get out. They didn't want, whatever the case is. I'm just saying from my perspective that there's just none of that.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, there's no guarantee that one of these veteran proven names would come in and it would be so much better. But I do think that given the state of the organization right now, it does just feel, it would feel better to have a steady hand on the wheel. Someone who's run a franchise and knows the ins and outs of the league and has relationships with Bettman and Daly and the other GMs. Like, it would feel better if it was like, okay, Armstrong's coming in, not sure how this is going to go, but I trust that it's going to go very professionally and all that. I will say right now, I don't know that a Sundin-Chayka combo would be better, worse, whatever. Who knows if the alternate realities, but it does feel a lot more perilous. It feels like there's less of a safety net than there would be with one of the established names.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly said. Just, I think there's a world where it could work out. And I think I don't think it's really hard to sort of picture that and sit here and be like, you know what? They hired Matt Sundin and it turned out he was great at it. And John Chayka, after all those years off, learned from his mistakes that he made in Phoenix and he came in here and they built a strong team next year and they were back in the playoffs. Like, they hired a new coach, whatever. All of that feels possible, but nobody wants to have that conversation. And I don't know why that is. Mm-hmm. I can't get a positive take from any of my friends about this. Yeah. I'm trying to. I can't get one.
Yeah.
Yeah. To your point, whether or not you're open to Matt Sundin coming in and really learning on the job quickly.
Yeah.
Right. Especially if it's in a very important role as hockey operations, and it really, at least it's the sense is that that's out there for him, whether he commits to it or he takes a portion of that, whatever the case is, ultimately he'll decide. I think there's an acceptance that, okay, it's not the first time someone like that has come in and learned on the job. Like Stevie Yzerman, Joe Sakic, who am I missing? Like Ron Francis, a lot of these guys have just come in and taken high-level jobs and managed to hang in there for quite a while here. Now, I mean, Stevie Yzerman took, I think, 3 years of shadowing Kenny Holland, and that certainly helped him. And forget about where the state of Detroit is and the decisions that he's made, but that's usually the sense is that those type of players come in and they get their feet wet a little bit. The one that is concerning is John Chayka, especially when it didn't end well for him with the then Phoenix Coyotes. That one might be a little trickier. So to your point, Sammy, where it's like, okay, he comes in, he paid the price for it. He's been out of the game for 5 years for whatever reasons, because he wanted to go open up 80 Wendy's or because he needed time away from it. Maybe the league needed time away from him as well. But we do know that, he suffered a big penalty. The team suffered a big penalty. They lost a first and second rounder because he had conduct unbecoming, with the CBA. And does he get to kind of, does that pick up where he left off? How's his relationship with the league? How's his relationship with other teams, general managers? How do they feel about him? Like that's gonna affect those early months of him working.
Yeah, like in looking for some positives about it, for Sammy's point, it's like, okay, he did some of those deferred contracts in Arizona, and maybe he'll be someone who's open to thinking more creatively. I talked about how you don't just want to do things cookie cutter. Maybe he's just going to be looking for an angle. And I think you got to have someone who's looking for an angle. And obviously he's a smart guy. Enough people have been like, all right, this guy knows what he's doing, that they've bet on him. But yeah, it's the one thing is, like, you look at his past in the league or even just his career history, and it's tough to, you hear some people say, well, he's got GM experience. And it's like, well, but it went bad. Like, they were a bad team. By the end of it, they were capped out. To your point, there's some things went wrong. So, like, I could go somewhere and do a bad job. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's not experience if it goes bad, if you haven't figured out how to do it right. So, yeah, we're kind of crossing our fingers going, hopefully he learns some lessons, hopefully with more resources, and he can execute some of these ideas maybe he has. You saw, I don't know if you guys saw the brain scan stuff that was in an article from the other day.
No.
Okay.
I didn't see that.
What is it?
What is it?
It's at the end of a Jason Botchford article from 2020, where he just, he used to write those articles like what are they called? Provies or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and the best story at the end was one of the things that they were looking into, or Chayka wanted to do, was like brain scan stuff, like MRIs, and you could figure out which brains are more, he's forward thinking. He was looking at some different angles of doing things, is all I'm saying. I'm saying there's some, you read the article.
Okay. I'll catch that one. So,
Guys, what do you want me to say?
If they x-rayed the three of ours, what would they see? Like a P?
smart.
No.
Smart. No. I think the big part of what Free just kind of reported and what's been out there, and we're going to have Free on at 4:30, so it'd be good to talk to him about this as well. But like, if Sundin says yes, then it's going to be a Sundin and Chayka pairing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If, like, what's the if? Like, the fact that, like I said this yesterday,
Right.
but it's drove home the point, and even more for me, boys. What's the pause here? Like, I understand that it's a big move and all that, but a massive role with the team that you're below, like, shouldn't that just be a snap yes decision? Doesn't that concern you?
I'd rather
Big decision.
delay to make the right decision
Yeah.
than
Yes, I want to do it. And then it's
to hurry and make the wrong one, right? To your point, yeah.
I
Sure.
saw.
And that's it, Sammy. Like,
But if there's any indecision in his mind,
Well, he's being thoughtful.
okay.
but also, one way or another, he's getting a crash course on the layers of this machine called MLSE.
I wonder what he thinks of Chayka. Like, is that at all relevant? Like, we talked about how we had to hire in order. Hire a president who hires a GM, who hires a coach. Otherwise, you got people going, well, I didn't hire this guy. And then it doesn't work. So that's a concern. The one thing I do like with the Mats thing, I saw Mike Johnson talk on Overdrive yesterday, maybe, talking about Mats and how he has some strong opinions and some of the things around the Leafs and their reputation and what he does want to change. And so I think he is a guy who wants to do the right thing by the organization. So I like that about him. But yeah.
Meaning what?
Well, I think there was stuff where he talked about, are they, nickel and diming certain things? And I think that MJ implied that that's something that he doesn't think is very Maple Leafy. So maybe that's something he would address. I don't know.
But is that making him into a business guy now?
Well, hey.
Is he crossing the line to business?
Vice president of hockey operations, that's not a player personnel title. That is businessy. Also, vice president is strange to me.
Yeah. I think it's
Buddy, it's been strange.
I think
what day is it? What week is it? What month is it? It's all been strange.
It is strategic by Keith Pelley and MLSE to start putting things out there, like getting an opportunity to wave a flag or have dinner in the penalty box. And yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. Like, at what point does that cross into it's affecting my hockey ops? And I understand that you guys have a business to create and you guys want to give experiences out to the Leaf fans that they normally wouldn't get.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
you got to respect that as well. But
part of the fan program.
It's interesting where that line is drawn and how does it affect the hockey club? So I think it's tricky.
I don't
think
know
it's
that
tricky.
it affects the hockey club in a meaningful way, but I think it affects the brand.
I think it affects the hockey club.
Yeah.
Certain things.
Yeah.
And I do know from a few players and a few agents of players that the social media thing is at times it can be bothersome. Right?
To be a player here.
To be a player here and the demands on we need you to talk about this, and this, and you step on the ice and you got 5 questions to ask, and
Okay, but
it
so
gets
what?
it gets a little tiresome for the players.
What does this have to do with Matt Sundin and John Chayka, though?
Well, that's where, at times a general manager or a hockey ops guy can tell the social media to, like, you need to back off of my players a little bit. They're inundated right now, and it's just, getting.
You mean like the ones where they walk out and they're like, what?
Well,
Yes. Yes, I am talking about.
Every single franchise in every single sport does that.
No, but it's a lot here.
No,
There's no doubt
it's more here than it is typically in other organizations. There's a big demand for social
I
media.
will say, Kip,
That's what the money is for. You play for the Leafs.
All right, but you know what, Sam?
Like, people care about it. Like, there's more people care, so they want more access. Like, it's about the fan. This is exactly part of the problem where it's like, I don't really care about this stuff. You guys don't really care about this stuff. I'm not opening Instagram being like, oh, but what do they think is like about this or what? I don't necessarily care about that, but tons of younger fans and people do care about that.
The players do at times, and they want to do their part, and they feel like they are doing the part, but sometimes they get asked a lot. And
is Gen Z the laziest generation?
What was the latest? What was the latest HBO or Amazon?
Blueprint or whatever?
Yeah, whatever. Austin didn't participate because it just got a little too much for him.
I think there's a big difference between the Amazon thing and them asking, like, what has more.
I'm just using it as an example of the demands, Sam.
Okay.
So
and then sometimes you can have a few players going, can we just not have a camera in our face going out to a Tuesday practice? Like, is that too much to ask?
Right.
And someone needs to be there to relay the message on some of the players. I'm not making a big deal out of it, Sam. I'm just telling you that this is the marketplace where those demands are there.
But when the new people get hired, and Matt's was on our show a year ago, you have
with his book,
you have a relationship with Matt's. Can you have him get Austin Matthews on our show once? Because our show's been 5 years now, and we're at 0. Be the captain of the Leafs for Sportsnet on the Drive Time show.
Okay.
Well, once would be good. Once seems reasonable to me.
We had Tavares.
Yeah. That was 500 goal?
Yeah. We had Ulrich Larson.
Dude, we had first year, I want to say we had Marner.
We had William Nylander.
I think he was in an amusement park.
I wasn't here that day. I don't think we did.
We should get our owners here at Sportsnet to talk to their owners and see if we can get them on.
Yeah. Anyway, that's sarcastic and just griping. But yes, I get your point. There is a lot to do here. It's a big market.
Our boy Mike Fuda.
Ernie Clement just hit a 2-run home run.
He hit it 1,000 miles an hour.
He did.
Okay, squirrel.
Sorry,
squirrel.
Yeah, I'm back.
Mike Fuda.
Futa.
Yeah. Futes was in the running and apparently went on the show today. His show, of course, with Matt. And
the fan hockey show.
The fan hockey show, and spoke of the experience.
Now, has he ever been a part of a winning organization in the past?
I think he's got a Stanley Cup ring.
Does he?
Or
I think he might have two. Does he not?
Or 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he would have
and I
some
don't
idea.
think Scott White did or John Chayka has one.
It would have been nice to have a guy who. I'm being a little whatever, but I'm disappointed.
Do we have any
that he was
sound?
involved.
Did you pull any sound or no?
I think we got some of it. Derek, do we have it?
All right, let's clear this.
Long, so we'll play a bit.
I made a conscious choice. I was asked to interview for the Leafs position, general manager position, and probably, I don't even know what it was, 3-4 weeks. Went through the process, did the Zoom call, was not going to get into the process. It was there. It was very positive. Growing up a Leaf fan, it was one of the most humbling experiences to be even included. As I had said before, when I was with Los Angeles, I got flown in to meet with Brendan Shanahan, but they didn't have permission to hire me. Not that they would have anyways. They hired Lou Lamoriello. So being able to be even considered is massive. So the process has gone on. I have continued to do this, and this kind of speaks well. So anyways, I had a face-to-face interview this past week, I guess it was. A couple hours. Was awesome. And then the process unfolds, and I got a call last night just saying that respectfully, great job. We're going in another direction. We're going to recommend another. They don't tell you who. I wasn't concerned who. I wish them all the best. It was an incredible process. But it's funny about it. Now this stuff kind of comes out today, which is, it's actually accurate. But the funny thing is, like, Elliotte Friedman, this is what Elliotte does for, like,
Good.
he's the best in the business for a reason.
He knew about you interviewing before
We
you
can
did.
dump out of this now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, he just went on to say that Elliotte knew but didn't report it.
Yeah.
I went on last week and dropped his name, but I didn't talk to Mike,
You didn't know that
and I didn't cut a deal like Elliotte did. I'm like, Elliotte, yeah, it's between you. I'm dropping.
This is
Futz's
relevant.
name. No, I did. You know what?
I know.
I got a message just moments before our show, like I often do at times.
Which, by the
And
way,
I'm
is why
like-
you're sometimes like hedging on there, because you haven't like 100% confirmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just said, yeah. And I had heard that he was either had been interviewed when I said it last week or he was about to.
Yeah.
So, and
Well, that's great.
I think it's to Mike's point, what a huge compliment, right? To be in that room and for such a
maybe
prestigious
He'll
title.
be involved yet. Who's to say what they decide to do once they come up with this structure. I know that Pelly had talked a lot about their structure and how that's all going to look, and
Looks good for sport. Good hiring by Sportsnet.
nailed it.
Got a guy who's interviewing for the Leafs GM job every day on the radio. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I
Fuchs.
think Fuchs is putting together something for the website on, just some ideas for the Leafs that he would have,
Love it.
which is cool.
Love it.
Okay. Where do you want to go?
Do
Edmonton?
we want to quickly talk about the hockey games last night before we get to Frege and talk more about the Leafs?
I wrote a systems analyst post on the OT winner from last night.
Oh,
the Boston Buffalo OT winner.
Do you want to talk about that game quickly?
Okay, hold on. Yeah. But like Pasternak just sticking it to Buffalo like he has sticking it to Sammy all those years.
Yeah.
Right?
He was on
the
side by a
Leafs.
quarter of an inch.
Yeah, like he's just. I don't know what else you want me to say. He's that dude. Like
He's that dude.
But you
he's
know
just that
what?
guy.
3 seconds before that, Krebs has the puck.
Oh, I know. What a turnover, eh?
and McLeod is in alone. If that pass gets through,
Yeah.
it might be series over. Kuznetsov makes an unbelievable play and flips it like that. Pasta jumps off the bench because they're diving in the bench for the change. Unbelievable.
And just Pasternak's celebration after, where he's just looking at all the Sabre fans going,
he's yelling, "We're coming
"We're
back here."
coming back."
We have a clip of him talking to TNT. Just a quick little 5-second clip on what he was saying when they're. I think it was Anson that asked him after the game. Derek, we could play. It's called Pasternak on TNT.
I mean, they were all flipping me off, so I was just telling them we're gonna come back here.
They were all flipping me off.
Reasonable to go at them in that event. Yeah.
They were all flipping him off.
Sure.
Like immediately, every guy on the glass.
And who's mad at them?
Zero.
Absolutely.
Guess who would be doing the exact same thing? This guy.
It's such a futile thing. They're so they're just like, look at my middle fingers.
Look at it.
Outside
just
of
like you.
Pasternak, like it's all Swayman too.
Yeah. Nominated for the Vezina
He
trophy.
he gave it to his team when he got pulled the other night.
So that's what he was doing. He was going down the bench and being like,
Yes.
hey,
Yeah.
wake the heck up, darn it.
Yeah. And then to go back to Buffalo and have that performance, he absolutely robbed Tage Lemieux in the third period there, post to
backdoor
post.
pass.
Oh.
He doesn't even know he's there. He just knows there's trouble on the back door.
It made a great save on Tuck in the slot right before this.
Right before that.
Yeah.
Krebs was at the end of a minute
Yeah.
22 shift because he was a part of that whole cycle and he couldn't get off the rink.
There's 3 young teams against like the quote unquote more experienced teams that have massive game sixes.
Well, the more experienced teams are climbing
Like,
back in it, and it's
Pittsburgh tonight
Yeah.
going up against Philly. Philly, it's a massive game for them. Buffalo going into Boston for that game 6, massive game for them. And the biggest one is the Ducks because the Ducks are going home game 6. If they got to go back to Alberta, boys, I don't know if I love their chances. Like
What's
that was a
the-
professional win for the Oil last night.
totally. What's the horror movie from your day? Is the Halloween movies, or is it Mike McDonald or Michael McDonald or
Michael McDonald was the
singer? He's got that weird
Mike
voice.
Myers?
Mike Myers, is that it? Is that it? I don't know.
No. I don't
Halloween?
Anyway,
Halloween or Freddy Krueger or
I don't know. The dude
Jason?
walks very
Mike
slowly.
Myers is always funny. So
no,
there's
Mike Myers is the scary guy. The
This is
guy.
derailed.
It is.
One of these guys moves very slowly and
It's
stalks
Mike
people.
Myers. It
Okay.
is Mike Myers.
In what?
In the movie. It's not. It's not his.
In Austin Powers too.
Yeah, baby. It's not. It's not.
It's not
the
Halloween.
Actor, it's not the actor Mike Myers.
I don't know.
The scary character in the Halloweens.
It's called Mike
Michael
Myers?
Myers. Not Mike Myers. Michael Myers.
I was always too scared to watch those movies, so I don't know.
The point is they're
Groovy, baby.
They're slowly stalking their victims.
Oh,
Terrible
God.
point I tried to make.
God, we're just.
We got to get out of here so we can talk to
Yeah, we should call Friedman in a little bit.
the dude.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Jay's up 5-1.
gonna look up that movie.
It's like one of the most famous horror movies of all time.
I don't touch those.
Same.
No,
Yeah,
No, same.
I don't need it.
Like I went and saw the Grudge in high school, and it was like the scary like little kid one where they're like
Yeah.
scary and no, I didn't sleep for 3 weeks.
Yeah, dude, I was like 9 and my dad had me watch Candyman. And I think that's the last horror movie I ever saw. Thanks,
I've never even
Dad.
heard of it.
Oh my God, dude. Terrifying.
Candyman.
Terrifying movie. There's bees
Candyman.
involed. I don't know. It's
We're
bad.
off
All
the
right.
rails. All right, let's go.
Elliotte Friedman, you want your insider information? Stick around. We got one of the best after the break. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Elliotte Friedman as he gets set up. In the meantime, NHL's strategically releasing award finalists. You got all your votes in?
Yeah, I'm all voted up.
The Vezina, I think, was announced, but the first one that was announced was the MVP, right?
No, it was the player.
Hart. MVP.
Ted
Hart.
Lindsay.
Ed Lindsay?
Yeah.
And then they've done the Hart.
I don't think so. Have they?
No, they haven't done the Hart?
Ted Lindsay is the player's vote for
Yes.
outstanding player.
That's the NHLPA one, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
NHLPA, yeah. So they didn't have McKinnon in there.
Yeah.
One of 6 players to ever get 97 even strength points in an NHL season.
Is that going to be the same when it comes to the Hart?
I don't think so. I think McKinnon will be on there. I don't think Celebrini will be.
It's really hard to avoid Celebrini when you consider like this was a teenager.
No, see, that's the exact
See,
complaint
I have value in it's a special year,
Totally.
special player,
But
in a
that's
special year.
That's not relevant context.
I know
to
you're
the
probably
award,
right.
you
Yeah,
know?
you're probably right.
McKinnon, Kucherov, and McDavid were just flat out better.
Well, yeah,
Full stop.
that's how I feel
They're
too.
more productive, but
But it's like if someone does it at 45, does it mean their
I
season's
don't
any
know.
different?
It's
just
a
who's you're
popularity.
in the league.
It's just a
That's
popularity contest at
he's
the end of the
new
day.
hot stock
Right?
on the rise.
It should
you
just be
know?
Connor every year.
Well, that's how I feel sometimes.
It should just be Connor again.
You know, my long-standing thing is LeBron won MVP of the NBA 4 times.
That's
4,
insane.
He's been in the league 21 years. Been the best guy 4 times. Like, come on.
I think it's been a couple more times.
Yeah. So you're always looking for the new, sexy, whatever. So it's like,
Spread it
this year
around.
it's celebrating-
Participation.
That's
Participation.
Yeah.
You're
It's,
Award.
it's the MVP of the league. What are you talking?
just
This
Comes
isn't like
down
an
to
all-star game
Someone's opinion. Whose jersey did you buy when
Oh,
you
you're
were a kid?
the worst all time. This is such a bad take that you have.
You know,
You get
guys,
so bad at
guys
shape.
used to have
People are really
contract
touchy on this
clauses.
stuff, man.
They are.
It matters.
That's what I do take it seriously because I think like there are still contracts that have performance.
I don't
bonuses.
know.
There used to be.
There
But
used to be,
in the
it used to
NBA,
be
it's-
50, 100 grand for
Yeah.
a major award.
It's also
I don't know if they still do
legacy
that or
stuff
not,
to me.
if they're allowed to.
But in the NBA, it's like if you're first or second team, like it's sliding in terms of like
Affects how much
you can
earn.
make.
Yeah.
And like if you're a first team all NBA guy, the difference in what you can make. So like Zach Lowe, who is a really, popular and well respected
He's awesome.
NBA
He's my
guy,
idol.
gave up his vote because
he
he was
did.
just like, this is an insane amount of responsibility to like be changing these guys. Like it's hundreds of millions of dollars difference for if you're
God, and what's sad about that is if anyone should be
Oh,
voting,
yeah, no, he
it's
watches
Zach
it. Yeah.
Lowe.
But like it's like you're the super duper max and like the super I don't know how it works, but it's like a big difference for the sliding scale. It's not like that in the NHL.
You know, that would really incentivize the players to kiss up to the media a little bit, wouldn't it? So, like if you're a top guy, yeah, you need an interview? Sure.
I'm coming on your
pal.
pod, Zach.
Come over for dinner.
You think it's fine to go to the media and I don't know how many are in it. Like how many get to vote? There's like 50, 100.
20, 140, and then another
Is that-
20
do you
broadcast
need all of
people.
them? If you narrowed it down,
I don't know. if
do you need
them all.
everybody?
I mean, the answer is no. You could have one guy do it
Like,
if you wanted to.
This guy, first guy out, you're fired.
You know,
hanging by a
it's-
root off
They
the
should
cliff.
get you in. It's a participation. It's about selling jerseys.
and we do know the majority of people around here, like, they don't really watch the Western games.
David Amber tweeted
They don't.
retweeted a funny retweet of
They're sleeping, man.
You're on fire.
this is Kip being jealous. This is what it sounds like when Kip's
No,
mad.
I
He's not-
voted. I got
Oh,
in
you
on the
voted
vote.
this year? Okay.
For
But he-
what?
Oh my God, you should have seen me. Like, so we would have a Sportsnet playoff preview show, and Elliotte screaming, "Get your votes in!" And I'm like on my phone during the playoff preview show,
You? No way.
voting for Elliotte. Thank God I'm not doing that anymore.
Kip's on screen time limits like my son.
I got to tell you, and it gets harder and harder every year. Like this year, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the Heart, and I was looking at the way the players voted the other day, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, one of Celebrini, McKinnon, McDavid, or Kucherov is going to come in fourth. And when that ballot comes out, whoever's put forth, they're going to show up at my house with torches. It's not fun. It is not fun.
So you don't have McKinnon on your heart?
I did not say that. I just said that I can't. He's in my ballot. He absolutely is. But they ask us to keep our ballots private until the awards are announced. So
yeah, well, you tipped your hand already. We know you don't have McKinnon. It's fine. It's fine. Just say it on our show. You don't have to be scared.
I'm not scared. I saw how he looked at that toy.
Yes.
I know that. I'm prepared for it if that's the way it is.
Attaboy. All right. Let me ask you, before we get into this whole Leaf general manager search,
Yeah.
you know, you've been around a long time. I have. We've gone through process for president, general manager before the Toronto Maple Leafs. Did this one feel different for so many reasons, Elliotte, to you? Or it still feels like it's different from what we've experienced in the past? And maybe the best example would be knowing and feeling like Brian Burke was going to come in because he was, at that time at the top of the mountain.
Well, the thing that really stands out different for me about this one, Nick, and it's not only the Toronto one, it's also Nashville, and it's also to some degree New Jersey, but also Vancouver. Like, doesn't it feel like there's a changing of the guard? That a lot of the people that we were used to or got mentioned, they're not really even candidates here anymore. Like, look at all the names that we're hearing all across these different searches. They're like New Jersey, when they found out that Toronto had interest in Sonny Mehta, they ended their search. Mm-hmm. They had called people and they said, okay, we're going to do some interviews here. And then, then all of a sudden it was like, nope, we're not losing this guy to Toronto. And he's our guy. And we're making him giving him the job. So, and that's what surprised me here, Nick, is that out of nowhere almost the guard is changing. That is what has shocked me the most.
So, Elliotte, what do you know from the Toronto side on Sonny? Because they did ask, and I believe you reported that they asked for permission from Florida to speak to Sonny.
Yes.
Did they ever speak to Sonny? Because obviously with Neil Glassberg there, the feeling that he was representing him as well, did that come into play in any of this?
I think that they were going to ask him regardless of who represented him. I had heard his name. That was one of the first names I heard connected to Toronto, was that was a guy that they were interested in, and that was a guy that they wanted to talk to. And so I think they did interview him. I don't know if it was in person. I don't know if they brought him up here. They did it by Zoom. But I do believe there was at least one conversation/interview with Mehta. And then it was reported that they were interested. And 2 days later, New Jersey just got in there and said, no, we're doing this.
Wow, they're the great New Jersey Devils. Who are the Leafs to put up against the big, mighty New Jersey Devils, right?
Well, also don't forget he's from there, and he's got and he's used to it there. That also might have been. I haven't spoken to him, so I don't know. But Nick, that may have been a personal choice.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this Toronto Maple Leaf search, I might flip the question a little bit on you and just say, at this point with Sundin-Chayka, do you have any concerns or thoughts that maybe it won't be Sundin-Chayka?
Well, Justin, I always believe nothing is done until it's done.
Okay.
So I think they're going down this road. I think they are trying to get this done, but until you have signed contracts, it's not done. Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys probably remember there was a time the Maple Leafs thought that they were going to get David Poile, and he decided no. And then there was a time they thought they were going to get Bob Gainey, and he decided no. I've seen in other sports, I've seen players and executives think that they were going somewhere, and at the last minute there was a snag, and it never happened. Like, they have to reach a deal with Sundin. And while I think they're in that process right now, until you have either a verbal agreement or a signed contract, like that's one thing. Like if this doesn't happen, I don't know where this is going to go. But right now they've decided this is the path they're going to go on. And I've had people tell me that they're confident they're going to be able to get him signed, but until it happens, Justin, it's not done.
You're listening to Elliotte Friedman, Hockey Night in Canada, 32 Thoughts, talking Toronto Maple Leafs, general managing. Elliotte, will it present as a bit of a 1-2 punch, a partnership? Is the sense that we are talking about hockey operations for Mats, and in theory, Chayka would report to Mats would report to Keith Pelly to the board, obviously, in ownership? Is that the feel we get?
I have asked this question to anybody who will answer it, and there are a lot of people right now who will not answer it. Nick, I haven't gotten clarity on how the structure is going to work. I can't imagine if Sundin agrees to this that he's not doing it without some degree of control over decision-making, right? Of anybody in this conversation, you know him the best. I'm a huge fan of Sundin's, but I would not profess to know him better than guys who played with him or the people who really know him. But I've got to think if he is going to relocate himself here to run the show, he's going to have the say, but nobody has told me that for sure. What I have been able to nail down a bit is, unless something has changed, I believe his title is going to be Vice President of Hockey Operations. Chayka is going to be the GM. If that would seem to me, Nick, that Mats would have say over this entire over the situation and report directly to Keith, but I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew that for sure.
I have a lot of questions about this. The first is do those guys know each other? Is that, is there any sort of concern over that relationship to begin with? And then the next part of that, Fried, is just that there's a lot of changes to make. We were led to believe within the organization. Is good guy Matt Sundin going to come in and fire people?
Well, I'll answer the first part of your question. Is I don't know what contact they've had.
Okay.
So I can't answer that. The second part I would say is, it's not the nicest thing to. Anybody who's ever run a business, Justin, knows that you can be a really nice guy, which Sundin I think is, but you have to make hard decisions. If you're not capable of making hard decisions, you aren't capable of being in that position.
No, and that's week one stuff for you.
Well, to me, it's one of the things I kind of liked about Doug Armstrong in St. Louis this year was he was ready to clear the decks for Alex Steen. I like the idea of, if someone else is going to take over, maybe you do some heavy lifting for them, right? And I've got to think that Steen had a lot of votes in what Armstrong was going to do, but Armstrong was willing to do it. If it was me and I was in that chair, that is the way I would do it. I would say, okay, on my way out, if there's something I know my successor wants, I will do it. To this point, and I checked it again this morning, I had heard the plan was that whoever comes in will make the decisions on the people who are already there. Now, I think obviously it's been a really hard time for some of the people who were there, and I think some of them have asked for clarity. But, Justin, last I checked early this morning, I had been told that the decisions on these individuals was going to be made by the incoming people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you haven't reported yet that Craig Berube's back next year yet, have you?
No, but, I will say this. I think that in talking to some of the people who were interviewed, I think it was left up to them. But sometimes, Nick, in these meetings, you wonder, who gets slandered and are people spoken about poorly? I heard Berube was spoken about pretty well. Nobody disrespected him. But again, I heard that it was the new person's decision.
All right. Do you have more on?
Yeah, just Elliotte, John Chayka, and we know how he left in what 5 years ago with Phoenix, Arizona at the time. I think they were still called. Any chance, that still is lingering out there, whether it's his relationship with the league or other general managers, or it didn't end pretty for him there?
No, it didn't. I have not spoken. Look, I covered all that stuff. I remember all that stuff really well. I've sent him notes. I have not gotten responses. He's kept pretty quiet. I would like to speak to him. I think everybody deserves a chance to prove they've learned their lessons and that maybe they can be different the second time around. I'm pretty consistent on that belief, but I would like to talk to him first. I would like to hear, what he learned. I understand he's been cleared by the league. But I read everything. I listen to everything. There's obviously a lot of opinions out there. Nick, it goes back to what we kind of just talked about at the beginning of the interview here. I think the way in which this year has led to such a sea change in the candidates being looked at and the people who are getting some of these jobs or serious contenders for these jobs has thrown the entire industry for a loop. And yes, there are certainly some very passionate feelings about him, but I want to talk to him first. And that's the way I would like to be treated, and that's the way I'm going to treat him. I'd like to hear what he has to say.
So what do you think it was that he brought in his interviews that pushed him past Ryan Martin, Scott White, Evan Gold, Mike Futa, a lot of the other names that were involved?
I can't say that for sure.
Yeah.
But what I would say, Justin, you go back to Keith Pelly's media conference that started all of this about data-centric or whatever term that he used. I always seem to forget. But he would be that kind of a person. That is his approach. That's the kind of stuff that he looks at. And I think the other thing too is, if it's going to be Sundin at the top of the pyramid, you would probably have to bring in somebody who says, okay, I've got the GM title. You don't really have the full power necessarily. I don't think you're going to be picking fights internally in Toronto with Matt Sundin. I don't necessarily think that people would refuse to do it, but I would bet that some of those candidates would probably be like, you know what? I think I'd rather have a bit more say or a bit more control, or would like to have. I would be curious to know from some of these candidates, would they say, you know what? I may not have full decision-making power here. Does that appeal to me? Mm-hmm. Is that what I want? And that's kind of one of the questions I've been asking, is that, and this is, I guess, something that happens if we get to the press conference when we learn how this is all going to work. I wouldn't be surprised if Chayka was somebody who really has probably the best opportunity he's going to get here, if he gets it, to bring himself back in to say, you know what? If I'm coming in Matt Sundin's shadow and I may not have full decision-making authority, but I'm going to help him run this show, I don't think that's a bad move for him if he wants to rehab or change his image.
Any more sightings of Keith Pelly and Matt Sundin at Harbor 60 or
no?
That's so random, Frege.
I really didn't want to tell that story, but I got called about it, and I was like, oh God, I better tell this.
Yeah. You got to hide behind bigger plants.
The thing is, Nick, I wasn't even hiding. I was out in full view. It was so weird. It was so strange. I know people who've broken stories like that. I think that's the first time it's ever happened to me.
Awesome stuff as always, pal. Really appreciate you coming on today.
My pleasure, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Freed. Appreciate it.
Elliotte Friedman, Hockey Night in Canada, 32 Thoughts. Always a great
That was great.
great guest.
Very insightful.
Well, hold on. What's this? Is that?
So on his podcast, he talked about how he was just out with his son. Him and his son were at Harbor 60 having a steak dinner, and they went to the washroom at the same time. And Keith Pelly and Matt Sundin were in there.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't see
So
that.
that's how he knew that Matt was in town doing an interview. Pure chance run in, no reporting, just ran into him.
Wow.
The other part he didn't say is when he runs a little short on the bill, he does some dishes too on the side.
Yeah, cool.
Random.
What's the
and
most
funny.
random celebrity run-in you guys have had?
Oh God, I don't know.
Can you have one off the top of your head?
I don't know.
Okay.
Skip Smith
Jeez, I didn't know if it
McDonald.
was that tough of a question.
How about you?
Well, we
You
saw
go
Trey.
first.
We saw Trey Savage's dad yesterday
Yeah,
at
and
the
then they
game.
booted him out of the section.
Well,
Did
no, they didn't. The boys behind us were not supposed to be sitting where they were, and the ushers came down and grabbed them because they were bending Trey's dad's ear.
I'm not going to a baseball game
I
anymore.
went to a
with Sammy.
Tracy Morgan
People
stand-up
just-
comedy show.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Tracy ended up back at our college dorm at like 2 in the morning. Yeah.
That's
Pounding.
amazing.
And it was weirder than you think.
Wow.
Anyway, good times.
Yeah. Sammy just taking pictures all game. I'm
Shut
like, can you just watch the game, Sammy?
Why don't you shut up? Okay, everyone comes up to you. Everyone knows Kyper. Kyper, you remember me from here? Yeah. You remember me from here? Yeah. You remember me? Like, I've never seen a guy get stopped more than this guy. This guy's Brad Pitt at a Toronto
I just
Sporting.
know.
funny.
I don't really remember.
No,
I
remember
don't
anything.
know, but just pretend and remind me later.
Anything from the Frege interview regarding Mats or
Yeah, it's gonna be Mats.
Chayka? It's going to be what?
It's gonna be Mats and Chayka.
Yeah, it's going to be them.
Yeah.
Seems like that's what's happening. I do think it's interesting that you may have not one guy with pure authority the way that we had anticipated.
And this is not any inside information. I do not know a thing, but like Craig Berube's coming back. How can you not feel like he's not coming back?
Because
Well,
I look at the
because you keep
stats.
saying it.
Because I look at the stats.
So Mats is
Nerd.
going to come in,
Yes.
and in 5 minutes,
Yes.
he's going to
Yes.
But see,
He's
This
gonna
is the
fire-
problem.
He's going to fire
has he
Craig
not been paying
Berube.
attention, or has he? We can't do this.
We're not
Where it's
doing
like,
this again. You're pissing
Wake
me off.
up from a coma and go, what's been happening in Toronto?
What? No way.
Hey, brutal of me to start this conversation.
Yeah, another
eh?
450.
4 minutes.
Boy, you nailed it.
The bumper's playing and he's breaking news.
All right,
We can do a bit in the Nationals too.
Chris Therien. God, we go Flyers.
Yeah, big
Pens.
one. Big one.
Big one. Plenty more still on the bone. The Real Kyper and Bourne Show. Take a break. Go get something to eat. I don't know, bathroom break, and come back. All right, let's kick it up a notch on the National Hour, the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet Plus, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, and live on YouTube. You can always download our show wherever you get your pods, Apple, Spotify, loving YouTube with a big thumbs up. In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Chris Therien, former Philadelphia Flyer, co-host of Snow the Goalie.
Friend of the
Flyers
show.
Podcast. Yes, of course. As all our guests are, Sammy.
You're right.
All of them.
So many friends.
Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. So the Flyers completely in control, and we'll get into this with Chris soon, but like, what do you think? Game 7? This thing has Game 7 written all over it, or?
One of those things where like these game 6s feel like game 7s, because if you lose at home in Philly and then you go into Pittsburgh, it's a tall task after that.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask it to you this way. There's 3 games tonight. Montreal, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Mammoth, Vegas later on.
Yeah.
Which game, which team has the most stakes tonight? Which is the biggest game for what team?
It's funny because, like, Utah, if they lose, I think they're cooked.
Yep.
But the stakes are low because they're Utah.
Correct.
And it's the first year in, and
Yeah.
Vegas has the most at stake for me
yeah,
tonight.
because you lose, then you go back to Utah.
Are you kidding me?
Tampa? Or you
No,
say Tampa?
Vegas. You're
Vegas
right.
number 1.
Oh, this team, when you make significant trades year after year, it's just to win the
Fire-
Stanley Cup,
Fire
Yeah.
your coach.
not
at
to sneak into the second round.
No.
Mhm.
Fire the coach as well.
Yeah, 8 games to go. You know, Montreal-Tampa is probably the best played series. Both teams tight defensively, not a lot of room, very similar. Stats are even all the way through. That one just can go either way. It's a great series.
I'm really interested to see if Montreal can go back to Tampa now and just not look like something slipping or their energy is down off of that one-sided overtime. And if they can just kind of pick up where they left off, especially in the first 2 games in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that'll show tremendous growth. And that they may ultimately lose this in even 7 games, but tonight will make me understand like how much the program has advanced.
They're earning a lot of, don't question the Montreal Canadiens. They're pretty good. Like, every time there's questions, they seem decent. The one thing, right, you're still waiting on Caulfield, Suzuki, Slafkovsky to have an even strength point heading into Game 5.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's and the fact that it's 2-2 with that is very impressive and speaks to how well the rest of the team has been. But at some point, they're going to have to do the work, and yeah, it should be an electric one there tonight.
You watch Caulfield score 50-plus goals and Suzuki at 100 points, and then you watch him kind of struggle production-wise, of course, especially 5-on-5, like you said. And is it starting to feel, and we went through this through the whole Toronto Maple Leaf era where it's like, everybody's screaming, no shows. But as you kind of see other guys make that transition from regular season to playoffs, does it speak a little bit more of how the game changes and swings and how much tighter it is and how much harder it is for stars to go from regular season to playoffs? And I don't know how it is in the NBA. I don't follow it enough, but
Best players are usually, except if you're James Harden.
they
Usually the best players. Are
it
the best
doesn't
players.
it doesn't tighten up for their stars like it does our stars.
Well, so much of in the NBA, they get the ball. Like, you can get the ball in the hands of your best guy. In the NHL, you make sure guys don't even touch it. Like, you're hitting McDavid behind the play, slowing him down, and making sure he just doesn't get a touch.
Okay, as promised, Chris Therien now joins us, Philadelphia Flyer alumnus, co-host of Snow the Goalie, a Flyer podcast. Chris, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, guys. Hope everything's well up north.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Peachy, buddy. Peachy. How peachy is it down there with a couple of losses after a terrific start out of the gate in this series for Philadelphia Flyer fans.
Yeah, well, I can tell you there's an awful lot of confidence in the air about them getting a home win tonight to close out this series. And, it hasn't been easy. It's a young group. There's a lot of young players on the team. They're getting their first experience, some of them at playoff hockey. And I don't think hockey's made to be as easy as the first 3 games of this series went for them. And now they're up against it a little bit. It'll be up to Pittsburgh to come in here and try to find a way to win a road game, a big road game. But I really feel like it's all about the Flyers tonight, guys. It's going to be an electric building. It's going to be wild in there tonight, and I really think they're going to try to use that energy to get one over on the Pens and certainly have a good start, which is something the Flyers have not done a lot of in this series thus far.
So one of the big stories in Game 5 was that Matvei Michkov was a healthy scratch. Sounds like he is going to be back in tonight. Oh, go ahead,
Not to cut you off, but Chris, can you just give us a background on the situation with Michkov, especially with this thought that, I don't know, missed a bus, late for the bus? Like, what is the background before we ask you if he's playing tonight?
I don't know anything about any team infractions, guys. I have not heard that. I saw whispers of it the other day on X or Twitter, but that's not been confirmed. I mean, from what I've heard and what I know, he wasn't playing with pace. He wasn't playing with speed. It was hard for guys to play with him in the lineup the way that he was playing in the first 3 games of the series. And the Flyers needed to make a change. They wanted to get Alex Bump in. He came in last game, scored a goal, was probably the Flyers' best and most productive forward in that hockey game. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was anything that went on. I just think they wanted to get a fresh face in there and try to add some pace and some better defense to the lineup.
Yeah, that's it's a fascinating sort of subplot of the story. As you head into this game here, does the specter of Sidney Crosby sort of loom large that this guy has such a history with the Philadelphia Flyers? Is there any fear of Sid?
I think you always have to be aware of Sidney Crosby. He's one of the all-time great players in the history of our game, and he's proven it many, many times over. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if there's going to be a catalyst in Pittsburgh tonight, if they're going to come in here and do something special on the road, it's probably going to come off the stick of Sidney Crosby. That's just kind of how the Penguins are built. That's the kind of player he is. So I think the Flyers are going to have to be aware of him. They're going to have to do a really good job defensively on him. And more importantly, stay out of the penalty box. That's where Pittsburgh gets a lot of their energy, is from their power play. They clicked at 24% on the season. And that seems to have given them a little bit of life in the series when they were down, was their power play. So I think combining those two things, being able to check him and also keep him off the power play, are going to be 2 keys to this hockey game tonight for the Flyers.
And just the last couple of games, just not getting to the middle of the ice for the Flyers here. What has struggled the most in your eyes these past few games?
Missed opportunities, Skipper. The Flyers have had plenty of odd man rushes. They've had chances in tight. They've missed the net. They've missed opportunities on breakaways, on 2-on-1s. And to be honest with you, that's been the difference for me in the last 2 games in this series. Even the third one where they won, the third game the Flyers won in this series, Game 3, they still were missing opportunities to finish. And I think they have to be a little bit better with that. That's really put them behind the 8 ball, I think, in these games. But the chances have been there. They just need to finish them, and they have not done a good job of that, especially the last 2 games.
Yeah, it's been one thing that when we talk about the Flyers here, a lot of it seems to center around like Rick Tocchet and the changes he's made, the culture and everything there. This is still his first year. It feels like he's been there for 5 years. Tell us about the roller coaster year from start to now for Toc.
Yeah. I mean, it was a growth year, I think. Where he came in and there was some people here at the beginning of the year that they were trying to sort out. He came in with 2 new goaltenders. In terms of his eyes, where Vladar and Ersson were both splitting games early in the year, trying to figure that out, trying to figure out the puzzle that is Matvei Michkov, trying to get him to be a more responsible player all around, working in some of the guys that have been here before, building confidence with some of the veterans, and then incorporating a lot of those young guys that came up later in the season, Barkey, Bump, keeping Andre, Emil Andre on defense, moving him forward. There's been a lot of things, and then the team, hit a wall in January into February up to the Olympic break. They were 9 points out of the standings, and then they had to have an absolute run for the ages to make the playoffs and get back in this thing, and they did that. So I think it's been a wave of emotions, a wave of up and downs this year, but I think talk has been a huge part of what this team has done this year with this coaching and keeping the team together, keeping them unified together and believing in what their abilities are. So, it's a great taste of first-time playoff experience for a lot of guys, and they're presented with a great opportunity to win a first-round playoff series and move on.
And what about the phenom there, Porter, and what he's been able to do, come in and really be so impactful so quickly here? What is it the most?
Yeah. You know what, Kipper? I've seen some, fair share of young kids come in, teenagers. He's really seasoned. Like, he really gets it. He goes to the front of the net. He can be disruptive, when he's on his shifts. He gets under guys' skin a little bit. But his shot, his wherewithal on the ice, and his ability and knack to get to the front of the net has been uncanny. I mean, he's really, really been good. He needs to get back to that tonight. It hasn't been the best 2 games for him in games 4 and 5, and I expect to see him play at his best tonight in Game 6 for sure. But he's been a revelation for this team and for the fan base in this town. They're itching to have someone like come in that comes in at a young age and really shows a flair for the dramatic, and he's done that. He's been an exceptional hockey player for this team.
As the games get bigger, any concerns over Dan Vladar, who hasn't really been in the big spots before, but has been a wonderful goalie this year?
Yeah, he seems, he's got a really calming presence about him. He doesn't seem to get too high and too low with the way he performs on the ice. He always talks about his breathing during games, letting things go when they don't go his way in the course of a hockey game. If a bad goal goes in, he bounces back. But, this is the most games he's played in a season ever, guys, at a high level. And, I think he's been great. I think he's, a couple fluke goals in each of the last 2 games probably didn't help his case. Where the Penguins scored the one where he turned it over in Game 4, and then the goal last game that went off the stanchion behind the net and fell in behind him. But he's a guy who's been a leader on this team. He's a vocal guy in the locker room, and the players have really loved playing in front of him.
And just for me, Bundy, the growth of Trevor Zegras, there was a level of frustration out of Pat Verbeek and Anaheim for a few years, and just how important is he tonight, being counted on as one of the faces here?
Yeah, you need that big playmaker, right? You need that's a guy that could dish the puck. That's a guy that can score a big power play goal. So, it's important that's one thing tonight, guys, I'll say. And there's some guys that have to step up. Travis Konecny's another guy, but I think when you talk about those veteran guys, this is their game tonight. This is the kind of game where your veterans, guys that have made an impact through the course of the year and early in this series, need to really rear their head tonight and show themselves, because they're not going to get it done without some really good veteran presence. I include Christian Dvorak in that group, Owen Tippett, guys that have shined through the year need to find a way to shine tonight in Game 6.
Last one for me, Bundy, and that's just if we were to go back to the Philadelphia Flyer fans in September and say, would you take a Game 7 loss in the first round of Pittsburgh? I think they'd be okay with it. But how would they be blowing a 3-game lead and losing in the first round?
Yeah, big difference, Kipper, in that question, right? Like, you can lose in a 7-game series if it goes 2-2, 1-1-1, and it's going back and forth. But nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to lose a series you had full command of at 0-3. And that's why tonight, for me, this game is monumental for this franchise, for this group of players. It's an opportunity for them to put an exclamation point on the series, playing in front of an incredibly loud, energized building. They'll have themselves an opportunity tonight. But if you ask me with the fans, if you said go back, they would not be happy with having a 3-0 lead and losing in 7. Nobody would. If they lost in a traditional manner in Game 7, I think they'd be proud of this hockey team for the most part and hoping for big things down the road. But in no way, shape, or form will anybody be satisfied if the Flyers lose this way in 7 games.
I enjoy the big one tonight, buddy. Really appreciate your time for stopping by.
Thanks, guys. Good to talk to you. Keep in touch. I'll be on again soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Chris Therien, former Flyer, co-host of Snow the Goalie.
So 4 teams to come back from 0-3. Do you
The Flyers were in one recently, weren't they?
The Flyers did it.
Yeah.
The Boston
It's
Bruins.
Boston, yeah.
What year?
2010.
2010. Okay.
And if
Florida just did it to
Okay,
Boston
not
too, didn't
recently.
No, if you'll remember in that game, in Game 7, they were down 0-3 in the series, and they were down 3-0 in Game 7. They came back and won in Game 7.
Yeah.
they? Yeah.
The most recent one to do it is the LA Kings against the San Jose
15?
Sharks. 2014.
2014.
The Islanders, 75 Islanders, and the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs won 4 straight to win the Stanley Cup in the final.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Florida over Boston must have been 3-1. They were
Yeah, it was in the first round.
Yeah.
The year they ended up playing Toronto in the second round, they were down 3-1 and they came all the way back. I can't help but think about the Oilers when they were down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers and they come all the way back.
That's right, too.
And they lose in Game 7.
Man.
That I'm sure that one will. I mean, they still could win.
You get it to Game 7, you still got to get it across the line when you bring it all the way back.
Yeah.
Still need a big one out of Sid, Letang, Malkin.
Yeah.
They're still their bread and butter.
Sidney Crosby has had a lot of incredible accomplishment, boys. But to orchestrate a 3-0 comeback.
Yeah, this one would be.
At this point of his career against the team that he hates the most, that the fans hate him the most. Like, this would be a real sort of late career feather in the cap to orchestrate this. They got a long way to go.
Is it Tigers 2019 Masters or what?
I love that comparison. I hope just the on the court exploits are similar. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I like Rust. I like Raquel. But, like, Mantha, I'm not sure. Brazeau, I'm not sure. You know, some of these guys who haven't proven that they're big game playoff guys yet, which, you know, Brazeau's young enough and new enough.
So
use them.
Did you want to get into some of the audio from last night from McDavid about the Oilers?
Yeah.
We haven't talked a ton about the Oilers.
It was an impressive win for Edmonton from start to finish.
They just came out and said, thanks, we're taking that.
Yeah. There's a part of me that says that just Anaheim just got a little overwhelmed, or they were feeling something because they were a no-show, especially with their goaltender right out of the gate.
Yeah. Just need to remind you guys that yesterday on the show I said McDavid will play. He'll get 2 points in the win. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
you did say that.
I did say that.
And it was noted, I think, in social media.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one guy tweeted it.
One guy. Our one listener.
So one
Tony
guy,
Reilly?
Yeah, there's one dude who tweeted us and So the guy that everybody's like, we've talked about him on the show, but everybody's praising him, including McDavid, including the coaches, is Pog Colson. And I know we're on in Vancouver on the radio, so sorry to you guys, but I mean, they're all praising him.
I actually saw people mad at Talkit retroactively about Podkolzin.
Oh, because they
got rid of a bunch of Russians when he was there, and Talk didn't like the Russian guys. They got rid of Pods, and old Pods ends up being unbelievable. Now,
is there any parallels?
I just did Talkit in Russian.
Is there any parallels that you would care to draw, Justin Bourne?
To be honest, that was not my intent at all. But yes, Podkolzin has been more than found money. He's been a found lottery ticket for Edmonton.
Yeah, that was a hell of a shot, too.
Let's play Knobloch clip 3 from last night on Podkolzin. Knobloch clip 3.
He improves every line he goes to, whether it's the first, second, third, or fourth line. He has always improved it, and a lot of it is just being able to play simple. Like he's a good player. He has good skills. You saw on his goal. He catches a knuckler pass, catches it, releases it right away, and puts it in a really small area. Obviously you see the physicality. He's responsible defensively. He brings everything. I think there's a lot of guys that fight to play with Podkolzin because of everything he brings. And, tonight he was good tonight also.
I mean, can a coach be more complimentary of a player?
I know.
What is his?
I love that dude.
What is his? What's his contract
I love the player.
status?
I love the
Is he up for a new deal?
Let's look right now.
That's always a fun game. I did that with Kapanen the other day. I'm like, this guy's a player. Oop, UFA. No, I don't know.
No, he's locked in.
Pods is.
They should hope so.
Where's he at here?
He has.
What's he make?
He's got he's totally locked in.
What's he make?
He makes $1 million, but next year he'll make $3 million in the next 3 years.
Oh,
what a deal!
2.95 actually.
Open market. How old is he?
Oh, 25.
24.
24. Yeah, he's a $5 million guy.
Yeah, he'd be. He's coming into a
6'1", 190.
He's coming
just
into
had a
his own
20-goal
right now.
season, almost 40 points, playing over 15 a night.
And that's
Draisaitl. I know we don't have the Draisaitl clip, but he was like,
We have a McDavid clip.
Draisaitl was like, he does everything right. He makes the game easy for me. There's more offense to come. He's going to unlock that yet. It was just like, whoa.
Let's play McDavid's clip on the best player on the Oilers, apparently. Pud Colson. McDavid.
Podsy was great. Podsy's been great. He's been one of our best players all playoffs long, and plays really, really hard. That's a big goal there. Great shot.
There you go.
Yeah.
One of our best players.
I know. And he has been. Yeah. Absolutely fair.
it's still, and the setup on Pud Colson's goal, Bouchard.
Yep.
Like, his patience with the puck is unbelievable. And I know sometimes it can mean turning the puck over on occasion.
The good outweighs the bad.
There was a good interview with Luke on a Hockey Night with Paul Coffey and Bouch. And Coffey's completely right when he says, as long as you're on the plus side on the things that you do well compared to the ones that don't, you're good to go.
That one where he walks the line and slides it to McDavid, who holds the goaltender before giving it to Draisaitl. It's like
the only one I ever
awesome
played with that could do those type of things consistently, right-handed shot, Zubov.
Really?
Yes, Sergei Zubov.
Yeah.
I think one of the most
now,
underrated
did he do it with a
players
dart
ever.
in his left hand? When he was playing? Yeah.
Many times.
Okay.
Many times.
Impressive.
God, Sergei Zubov.
And he's the only one where their
kid.
pulse doesn't race when it's on
and it
the
can
blue
be a problem
line.
at times. It's like people said that about Caberly, right? For years.
Yeah,
it was
but
like
Caberlet was not into Bouchard and Zubov territory. Much different. But
Zubov played
still very
164 playoff games, 117 points.
Thomas
2 cups.
Caberlet, very, very good.
Yeah.
Just not that class.
But it people don't get these guys whose heart rate doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Like, they can't relate to being in a car accident and being like, well, just wait for this
And
to stop.
with all due respect, man, it's still last night, Bouchard, McDavid, and Draisaitl.
Their backs are against the wall.
Maybe the best playoff warriors ever.
To beat the Oilers, you got to beat those guys.
What is McDavid and Draisaitl now in career playoff games?
What, just record-wise?
How many playoff games have they played? Like 100, 110?
Draisaitl has played in his career 101 playoff games.
And how many points?
55 goals, 95 assists for 150 points.
Okay, no. Think about that now.
He's 150 playoff.
Okay, and McDavid's probably right there with a little bit more, maybe on the bone.
Let's look.
Okay.
I love.
No.
When I get to just type in names to Hockey DB, this is my true
keyboard
passion.
cat.
I want you to think about that. Every time they step on the ice for a playoff game, they can give you 1.5 points a game.
Connor McDavid has played the exact same amount of playoff games as Leon Draisaitl, 45 goals, 111 assists for 156 points.
1.5 points per game.
And it's not like they've been more evenly balanced than, say, I'm thinking of the Leafs core 4, where it was always like there was no one behind them, so everyone keyed on them. They're all keying on these guys too.
Yeah.
Part of it's the power play. They're very good in the power play.
They're allowed to be good on the power play.
Nobody.
Yeah, they're allowed to be good there.
Right?
Yep.
That's Gretzky stuff.
It is.
It's legacy beyond, and they're not 30 years old.
They're
God,
going
they need
to
a
have
cup
to
so
do
bad.
that. They're going to need 1.5 for 2 more games.
Like, we've talked about how hard it is in these playoffs for when you're an elite player to keep getting points.
But
no one has done it like these guys. And Bouchard's point per
Let's
points
look
per
at.
game.
Let me type in Bouchard. Let's
they go up from the regular season. He's better in the playoffs.
He is better. Yeah.
Evan Bouchard. How many? He has played 80 playoff games in his career. He has 88 points, 21 goals, 67 assists.
My God, he's over a point per game as a team in the postseason.
Yes.
So far from my mind.
So that last night was typical Edmonton Oilers on how they win.
And
with
what
these
do you do?
three
Get
guys.
on their backs?
If Anaheim
Leon's that dude.
does not shut that down, and the other factor, of course, is that you can't give up 5 goals a game. And last night they shut that down. Like, can they go into Anaheim and keep them 3 and under?
Oh, let me just check recent history. Yes.
I love
They've years of playoffs now. They've shown they can do it.
I love McDavid's clip on them trying to survive. Clip 3, please, Derek, from McDavid.
No, I mean, you got to be grateful for just getting to the next day. All we did is survive one more day. And the pressure is still pressure's on us, but, it's a big game for them too. I'm sure they'll be feeling that too. It's closeout games are tough. And they're building. I'm sure they're not going to want to come back to Edmonton. So pressure on them, but we got to find a way to survive another day.
I love that.
Just a little applied pressure.
But he's right.
The side. Yeah,
there's a
pressure on
ton
us,
of pressure on the Ducks. Like, you're up 3-2 against the Edmonton Oilers. Nobody saw this coming. Everyone picked Oilers in 5. That was like the number 1 pick. Now you have a chance to close them out on home ice. And here come 3 of the most prolific scorers in playoff history.
The best thing the Ducks have going for them is that their coach has been there many times.
It's a great point.
Been through the fire.
Yeah, he's gonna have to calm them down.
Yeah. He'll know which direction to push, whether it's fire them up or calm them down. But yeah, no, it's gonna be fascinating.
Game time, boys?
Yes.
All right. It's game time, presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. 3 games on tap tonight. 3 huge ones, like I brought up. Montreal in Tampa Bay. I pulled this up, and I got to tell you, I'm pretty surprised by this line. Tampa is a massive favorite. They are minus 170 in this game tonight.
Don't bet that.
That is a shocking number to me.
Let's hear the Montreal number now.
Plus 145.
Let's go.
Listen, I'm not sure who's going to win this game, but for me, that is much more of a coin flip than those 2 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you're worried about the Habs going on a run and you're a Leafs fan, it's an awesome spot for a happiness hedge.
Mm-hmm.
That if they win this game, heading back to Montreal, possibly Friday night with the lead in this series.
Right.
Kind of scary for Leafs fans and for the Bolts, so that's a big one there.
How about this? Sorry, Sam.
Yeah, no.
There's I actually went to the company gym for the first time today in a long time.
Really?
I did. They have a tack board and all the 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. And this is take a tack and put in the team you think is going to win, come out of the Atlantic. Buffalo, Boston, Tampa, Montreal. Where would you put your tack right now? I thought it was any of the 4 teams are a reasonable pick.
Buffalo.
Most likely to come out of
No,
the
I don't
Atlantic.
know. I don't know.
I know. I've never been so
mind.
I don't know.
I still like Montreal to.
I put it in Montreal.
I put it. Yeah.
I
Really?
lost my tack in Montreal.
I like Montreal's chances tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they're going to do that, they need some Nick Suzuki, him to kind of break out. Give me 2 points for Owen Sound Attack alum Nick Suzuki at plus 185 tonight. And that was Game Time, presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Utica.
Utica.
Utah.
Utica. Marley's minute coming up here.
Sorry.
Hey, they advanced past the first.
Yeah, let's go.
I thought it was 1988, and I'm playing for the Hershey Bears.
The Baltimore Skipjacks coming up.
Pub in Utica.
Utah and
1933,
Vegas on tap as well tonight.
Big
And
one.
the Vezina. Did you vote for the Vezina?
No. GMs.
Thank God. They do.
Yeah.
Well, only Valley should vote for that.
It's a Valley.
Valley, they should just call Valley. Who's
We'll
the best?
mention the 3 finalists for that, plus more, when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne.
Hi there, it's Justin Bourne.
Welcome back in studio. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. It's a real Kyper and Bourne show. Sammy, your Jays are just the bats have awoken.
Yeah, this will be 3 straight series wins now. They're heading into Mini, I believe, this weekend, who's kind of scuffling. I think they've 2-8 in their last 10. So be a great chance for them to kind of get back on track
Trey's
here.
back. Things are coming back.
George Springer, RBI, base knock coming
First
off the
pitch.
bench. Yeah. My boy Brendan Valenzuela. My boy hit a home run.
Yeah.
He's a backup catcher.
V. Just
V.
call him V.
For Vendetta.
It's not like I talk on the radio saying words. Time now for the Acura Performance matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX Precisely Premium. Mammoth versus Golden Knights, Game 5 tonight. Couple things. Jack Eichel, who has 49 points in 44 career playoff games. So he can become the 4th fastest American player in Stanley Cup playoff history to hit 50 career points. The 5 players to hit the mark in fewer games are Kyper, your former teammate that you say is one of the best players to play with, Brian Leach. Kevin Stevens, who I feel like has a very underrated career.
Yes, agreed.
Brett Hull, who was born in Belleville. Patrick Kane, and Craig Janney. So there's a 4.
I loved Craig Janney.
There you go. The Golden Knights own a 4-2 record in Game 5 when a best-of-7 series is tied 2-2. So they haven't had a ton of these, but, I mean, they've just been in the playoffs so much to start. So
Eichel just seems like that dude, man.
I don't know what
tough.
to make of Vegas. They sometimes are like, yeah, that team can win, and then there's other times when their stats are good, right? They outshoot, outchance, they do all this, and they find themselves down 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, they're a bit of an enigma. They definitely have lots of talent, and I guess Tort's trying to put that together for them right now. Utah is like the opposite of Vegas to me, right? They're no real superstars, kind of a core group of guys who are scrappy. Vegas seems like the guys who, the pressure, the talent, the money,
You know who's disappointed is that Hurdle. I thought he was a mule. He should be a playoff type of
Well, they don't even use him.
warrior.
Kid. He's played 14 minutes a game.
I think 12 the other night.
Yeah.
It's like, what is wrong with this picture here that this guy is big and strong? He can skate. He can look like he deserves to make $8-9 million a year and can't find him 13 minutes.
the biggest difference between this Vegas team and the years past is just the decor.
One guy.
Well, yeah, it's Pietrangelo.
Pietrangelo.
For sure. But it's just,
The addition of Marner and Anderson.
yeah,
could
but it's,
offset that.
Lozon and
Yeah.
it's
No,
a
it
lot
just
of
hasn't.
Kozak,
It hasn't done it.
Braden McNabb. I don't know. It's just not the same as it used to be for me.
I know for Leafs fans, Marner's still trying to find a point at even strength. But he's playing a ton. They're almost 22 minutes a
Playing
night.
center. Never was able to do it here. Never was allowed.
Never gave it a chance to do
No,
it here.
Willie or him never allowed to play center.
And he plays with that Dorofeev. Like, this guy he's a disaster if he's not shooting it in the net.
Dorofeev?
Yeah.
He shoots it in the net a lot.
40 goals.
But he can't. He's a turnover machine, and I think I watch him enough. He looks like a liability to me sometimes out there.
Yeah.
But he can shoot it in the net.
You sure can do that.
That's it. But they got some issues.
That was the Acura Performance matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX Precisely Premium.
So Brady Tkachuk spoke.
We've now entered the news and notes, sponsored by Brady Tkachuk.
It's funny. Our show is like a guaranteed 20 on what the Leafs are doing to their GM, followed by a guaranteed 10
So
on
he left. He left. He caught a flight really early. He didn't stick around for locker room cleanup or whatever you want to call it. With good reason. Wife had a baby. Congratulations to the family. So he felt compelled to still talk to them. They hunted him down.
But he sat up there for 27 minutes at the podium today.
27
minutes.
That's a podcast. They should have made it an episode.
Wingman next. Is that what it's called? Wednesday Wingmans or whatever it's called.
That's a long time.
That's been a really long time.
And they just peppered him.
Yeah, they did. And shout out the person who I referred to last time who was grilling Steve Stais. It was Julian McKenzie of The Athletic.
Oh,
so
nice work.
I feel bad that I didn't shout him out at that time. But yeah, I mean, he was, the whole media was there asking them the questions everybody wants to hear. And he sat up there and answered them. I mean, the big flashy clip that's happening is about the rumors and all that and about him leaving. If we want to play that, Derek, it's clip one and then we can kind of react off it.
Of course, I wasn't here for, everybody's meetings and the other day, and so I haven't had the chance to talk to Steve, but I mean, I feel like I've answered this hundreds of times that none of that I feel like I've never shown. I've never said. None of those things ever came out of my mouth, and quite honestly, it's just getting frustrating. It's becoming a distraction, and because I have been fully committed to this team, to the city, and it's just becoming a distraction, frustrating to deal with.
You have been or you are?
It's the first thing I heard too. We're so cynical. That's what I heard too, boys. God.
Sorry, it's the first time I've heard those clips. That's
Yeah.
just where my brain went. Well, you're looking for a guy to just go, I want to be in Ottawa. And I know he mostly did that. So I think Senators fans, from what I understand, are very happy with the way he went out there, right?
Listen, I have to say, there's a really comparable situation here in Toronto where Austin Matthews went out at the end of his locker, whatever it was, locker room clean out here. And I'll tell you what it wasn't. It wasn't 27 minutes.
And it wasn't 27 minutes of, I want to be in Toronto.
It was, who knows, what was it? I can't predict the future.
No, but you can help dictate it.
I would know, these are words that I never thought I was going to say, but I would respect the way Brady Tkachuk did it today. Like, for him to go up there and eat it for 27 minutes is crazy. That's crazy.
I think we're in this world where we want one-stop shopping, man. We want to go in. We want to fill the tank with gas. We want to do grocery shopping. We want a hamburger. And it's like we want it now. And these guys with 2 years on their deal don't have to give you one-stop shopping.
Yeah.
They don't.
No.
And they don't owe it to anybody. And they don't owe telling you, I really, really want to be here, or otherwise.
No,
they just don't owe anything to anybody.
No, they don't. But we can observe, like, if you ask me, how happy are you with your wife? Are you going to say, yeah, yes. I'm staying married. I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
going
can't
anywhere.
predict the future, honey.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, she's a nag. She's telling me that I'm a mess. She's telling me that don't take the garbage out. Like, what do you want?
Well, I'm just saying. So these guys they don't owe anything. They don't have to say that, and they're not saying, yes, I'll be here for sure or whatever. But if they were going to be there for sure, they could just say it. And so the fact that they don't say it leaves it open to
hold on for a second. So let's just use, I don't know, many ways, all three of them as an example. Okay, it's let's go to Austin. Okay, I'm looking around. I don't know who my GM is. I don't know. Like, we missed the playoffs. We have no first round picks after this year potentially for 2 more years. Like, I'm telling you, I can't predict the future because I don't know how I'm going to feel by the end of the summer.
Totally.
I don't know how I'm going to feel at Christmas. I don't know how I'm going to feel at trade deadline day.
Right, but that opens us up to go, well, he's not staying, not definitely staying, which is all people are saying.
You're fine to give your opinion or speculate, but whoever says that says it without any facts, any credibility, any and I know Biz went off on it. And
on this today?
No, the other day on Brady not going back.
Oh, yeah.
There's no effing chance
Correct.
He's going back. Like, if I'm Brady, I may give Biz a call and just say, hey, Biz, you're causing me a lot of headaches right now. And if it's not true, then deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But or Biz could be on something and he doesn't want to deal with it or is not ready to admit anything. But there's ways of cleaning this up too behind the scenes a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. He signed an 8-year contract there.
Yeah, and he's got 2 more years.
He's got 2 more years on. He's given him a.
And Austin just signed, or he has 2 more years, and Connor just signed for 2 more years.
And I
that
also,
gives you lots of time to still make a decision down the road.
But
I also think Brady just had a kid in Ottawa, right? Like these are factors. I'm not
Jersey.
sure. What's that? No, Brady Tkachuk just had a kid.
In Jersey.
Oh, was the kids in Jersey? They're not in Ottawa? I didn't know that. Sorry. But anyway, they had a kid. They're not likely to be like, hey, let's move to Texas.
What's the kid's name? Sonny?
Oh, my God. Jokes.
I'm just joking.
I'm just saying I doubt he wants to pick up and move this summer. A lot going on in his life.
I think the Sens can be good again next
It's
year.
really
Maybe they'll win a
it's
game
not
in the
up to
first round
him,
next
though.
year.
It's not up to him unless he forces the issue.
No, it's only up to him. They said they're not trading him.
Yes. So it doesn't appear like he's going to. It's really hard to sit up there for 27 minutes and then turn around in a month or two and go, get me out of here.
Yeah.
That one's a tough one. And his brother didn't do that in Calgary. So there's no real.
I think that
His brother wasn't the captain, though.
I think next year, like late November, early December, there's going to be much stronger conversations depending on how Edmonton, Toronto, and Ottawa come out of the gate.
That's really well said.
Yeah.
There's another one, too, of it on his next steps in Ottawa. Clip 2, please, Derek, from Brady.
For me, it's I just want to talk to Steve, and I know we're going to talk, and he just left to go to U18s, and just to talk about our normal conversations usually at the end of the year about our team and what he thinks and what he thinks of my own game, and I talked to Greener this morning, and I know we're going to talk in a couple of weeks when we all decompress a little bit more, and for me, it's just having those conversations about our team, where we can improve, where I can improve, and all that other stuff. It's just a distraction to what we're trying to do.
I like the talking about where I can improve. Like there's room for everyone to get better. That's great.
I like the distraction part.
I honestly, I listened to a lot of this, and I mean, it came across well, boys.
Yeah.
Came across well, so
All that.
kudos to Brady Tkachuk. Let me plug my nose while I say that one, boys.
Every time you play your nose, guys leave, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, anyways, do you want to do a couple clips about the Montreal game tonight?
We also have Boston Buffalo stuff. Whatever Montreal
Yes,
probably more
Montreal.
relevant to our audience.
Any word on Dobson? He's skating.
Yeah, there was
Did
something.
they say anything at all on him?
No, but I have a great clip about Marty St. Louis. Reporter was asking him about the Slavkovsky hit.
Sorry, just let me
Yeah, go
interrupt
ahead.
you.
Yep.
As early as Game 6 on Friday or possible Game 7.
Okay. Let's play the clip about the Slavkovsky hit. Clip 1, Martin St. Louis.
I believe there's always a defining moment in every playoff series. It seems like maybe that moment occurred Sunday when Crozier hit Slavkovsky. I know you're going to disagree with that, but it just seems like the team was not the same after that. It seems like it galvanized Tampa, and it took some steam.
If you
out
let
of
that moment define the series, you're putting yourself in the bad spot. Don't let moments like that define it. Rewrite it.
Yeah, so he's saying basically you're right until we change the narrative.
Mm-hmm. Which is a great way to look at it. You embrace that it happened and it mattered.
Oh no, it turned it.
Can I just
turn the energy right around?
Years of watching the Leafs, you had a lot of the coaches in playoffs going, that didn't bother us, or a lot of scrums where, guys, that was a non-thing.
That was their number one move.
And it was so frustrating because it was like, no, that mattered. We know that mattered. That's a big spot. For St. Louis to be like, you just can't let it define it is, I think, a great way to look at it. It mattered, but it doesn't have to define it. And he's saying all the right things for me. I think he takes the temperature pretty well of his team.
There's a few moments there where I wasn't sure that this was going to fully work out with him. But
was it when he was running the stairs with Sean McKenzie?
Boy, all the guys everyone hated that.
Everyone hated that.
I was the first one.
You were.
I was the first one to hate it.
Yeah, you were the first.
Oh, it's
hater.
good for TV, and
It was good for TV.
I know.
Got the people talking. That's the whole point.
We're selling the game.
So I was listening to Cooper this morning. There wasn't a ton of I wouldn't say really interesting stuff, but I thought this was interesting on the officiating in the series, and it kind of was a commentary on the whole playoff. So play the clip one on the officiating in this series.
It's hard to say. I always say, I always believe the first round that's when all the penalties are called. I feel in my time that it gets less and less. I feel it's been, I guess, equitable in a sense. I don't know quite what the PP time is, but it's pretty close. So whether we can debate the consistency, the missed calls, I think both fan bases probably have a gripe, or they'll find a gripe. Mm-hmm. My issue with the way things would be going if there was a massive discrepancy between, one team's got 8 more power plays. And so I don't think that this series has deserved that. It hasn't gone that way.
So can I ask, why do they call it so tight in the first round? Because he's right.
He is right. Statistically, I know Dom Lucian did something on this at some point that most penalties are called first round, first few games, and then they kind of go down.
You'll get 3
until round 2, and then they
3, 4
Yeah.
in the conference, late in the conference final or the Stanley Cup final. You'll see 4 total, 5 total.
You're right.
Is that to keep it on the rails early because it's so
Yeah,
crazy?
you're coming out of the gate firing too.
Well, yes, that part in round 1 for sure.
You're shot out of a cannon.
But I think refs really, as the games get bigger, don't want to be the story, which I know people at home are going, that makes them the story, not calling penalties, but they don't want, they want the players to decide.
It's incredibly fast out there. I've been watching Tampa, especially for Sportsnet Central, and it's the high sticks. It's jumping out of the way. It's going to attack a guy and you lose stick positioning for a split second, and it comes and it clips a guy. It's like, there are all these incidental, you're just off balance by a fraction and your stick comes up, and it's maybe somebody sells it a little bit more than usual, and it's not really a high stick, but it sticks high enough where I got to call it.
It just feels like the penalties that get called as you move later on are the ones they have to call. It's a high stick where everyone saw it. It's a puck over glass.
The sticks will be down tonight. I anticipate that already the guys are sick and tired of these high sticking calls, and they will do a better job. They'll be more disciplined. They won't find themselves off balance as much. I think the penalties come down tonight.
Before I ask you this question, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne is brought to you by Bet365. 3 games tonight. Who do you like in 3? Are we going back to Pittsburgh? Are we going back to Pittsburgh?
Yes.
I'll take Philly's youth and enthusiasm.
Philly's going to the second round.
Yep.
That's kind of where my gut is at, but I pre-series picked Pittsburgh, and part of it, what I wrote about it was that I didn't think Philly's young guys were ready. I'll just stick with that. Not going to waffle on that, so I'll take Pittsburgh. How about you?
I like Pitt too.
Yeah.
I said Pitt in 5. I gave the worst.
Crosby not scoring the empty netter last game was driving me crazy. He hit both posts.
What about Vegas, Utah?
Vegas, Utah. We are in Vegas tonight.
Yes.
It's going to be Vegas.
It's going to be Vegas.
I think it's they hand them one. Everything goes Vegas's way for a night.
Yeah.
5 Cobb.
And the biggest one, who do you like in Montreal, Tampa tonight?
So we're in Tampa Bay
Correct.
for Game 5. I just think Montreal, man. I think these games have been so close, but
I think Montreal's just, when they're on, they're just quicker. They just look like they got a better buzz.
To me, it's the definition of that Montreal team has more. They're more dynamic, electric, more pace. But Tampa Bay is the veteran savvy. We've been here before. We've done this. We know how to grease it out. There's no more Tampa goal to me than Hagel at the net, Kucherov off his chest.
Anderson go in there and just
ruffle a few feathers?
Yeah, can he look Tom Wilson-ish?
I think if he could do it with consistency, he'd be a much different name in the league.
Been a lot more money.
Yeah, although he's made
a ton of money.
A good show.
It's Montreal and Tampa Bay on Sportsnet. Everything gets going. 7 p.m. puck drop.
Cannot wait. Rushing home.
Yep.
Oh, plus Rappies tonight. Go Rappies.
Oh, yeah.
Big one for them in Cleveland.
Big night. Our thanks to Elliotte Friedman, Chris Therien. Enjoy your Wednesday night. And we're back again to do it all over again. If you get a chance, give us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you. Our thanks to YouTube. Thumbs up, everybody.